What's crack? I like it. I'm Scotty. You're not. And we're back on the Harry Potter train. Choo-choo to Hogwarts. And we're talking about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Sorry, Azkaban. Okay. So, growing up, this was my favorite. And there are parts of it that I really do love. But I had a few, as you go back and watch some of your nostalgic favorites, you do find just a few small little issues. One particular thing in this made me scratch my head like, wait, if they saw this happen, how did they explain it later? And I don't think the explanation that they kind of give explains it the way it should have, but we'll get there. Now it's the third year of Hogwarts, and yeah, things are a little bit different. There are these things called the Dementors. The prisoner of Azkaban himself, Sirius Black, has broken out of Azkaban, a prison that is unbreakable. But you know, maybe he had help from Michael Schofield. Who knows? And he could be after Harry because we find out some secrets about this guy, and yeah, basically it. So, like I said, I still really love this movie. We'll see by the time I'm done talking about it how I feel, but I almost had the first one a little bit up higher. We'll see. I didn't talk about. We start off, and I think one of the reasons why I like this movie so much is this has, of the first three, the least of the Dursleys. It does. It starts with, first of all, I'm immediately confused when I'm watching this. I started off this morning, and Harry is practicing his Lumos, which he shouldn't be able to do because underage wizards can't do magic off of school grounds. But he's doing the Lumos, and he keeps messing with Vernon as he goes in to check to see what's going on. And the only reason he's doing this is so it can lead to the title card. There's no real point to it. But I feel like him doing this lessens the weight of, oh no, he did something very bad later. He did magic off of school grounds, but he already did this. So why is this a big deal if he already broke the rule? Vernon's sister shows up. She's a bitch. And immediately starts throwing shade at Harry because she's Vernon's sister and Vernon's a terrible person, so yeah. And yeah, she, I think she throws some shade at his dad, and then she calls his mom a bitch, and it freaks him out, and she blows up into a giant balloon and flies off, with Vernon saying to reverse it. He goes, no, I will not, and he just leaves. He leaves, he takes off, and we come to unnecessary plot line number one. Why did we need him to get on a bus and go through all of London town to get to Diagon Alley, to get to the Leaky Cauldron? We could just went, I'm leaving, and smash cut to him walking into the Leaky Cauldron and saying, I need a room for the night. My name is, oh, Harry Potter, we've been expecting you. Why did we need this severed-headed, shrunken-headed guy, going through swooshing? Why did we need that? Because it's in the book. You don't need to transfer everything from the books onto the screen. Because watching these movies are already unnecessarily long because you decide to fill it with so much of the book. This is one of the plot lines from the book. There's no need for this whole bus ride. Take it out, leave it in, it doesn't matter. It adds nothing other than to show you how Harry got to where he belonged. But, take the first one, for instance. There's a whole scene before the scene with McGonagall. Basically, it's a montage. It would be a montage, but in the book, there's more before the scene with McGonagall, Dumbledore, and Hagrid delivering Harry to the doorstep in Privet Drive. There's more before that, but they cut it out, put a little exposition. You didn't need to have it. Just say, don't ever take the bus when he comes in. Well, I could have told you that. You know, so I don't know. Those who read the book would get it. Some people say, oh, I wish they would have shown that. But you don't really need the scene in the movie. You don't. It's unnecessary. But yeah, he gets there, and they sort of just brush off the fact that he did magic, and Cornelius Fudge is there. He's like, oh yes, Harry, we've been expecting you. We have your books, and you'll be ready to go. Which we're just gonna cut diagonally out of this whole thing in this movie. He meets up with Ron and Hermione the next day, and they get on the train to Hogwarts. What the hell did you just tell me? So, yeah, and it's on this train that we get the Dementors. I guess during the bus scene they do mention Sirius Black, but they could have rewritten a script for him to find out about it at the Leaky Cauldron. Someone's reading the paper at Leaky Cauldron. You could have put it there. It's the only thing in that scene that really is needed. You could put it somewhere else. You don't need everything from the book. Yeah, the Dementors are now searching the train for Sirius Black, who was gone missing. He's a dangerous. We don't know what kind of crimes he's committed, but we know he's bad news. And on this train, we see, for some reason, a teacher is there. Remus Lupin, Professor Lupin, played by the great, I can't think of his name. David Thewlis. David Thewlis. Very good. Sirius Black, of course, will be played by Gary Oldman. And yes, so we get to Hogwarts after that happens. We get to Hogwarts, and right away we find a big change. Richard Harris, who played Dumbledore. Don't start that again. Snape. Severus Snape. Dumbledore. No. In the first two Harry Potter movies, passed away in between movies, and they cast Michael Gambon in the role of Dumbledore, and right away you could tell it's a different performance. Richard Harris was very soft-spoken and smooth, a little bit laid back. Michael Gambon gives no shits, and immediately, Harry Potter, he is very stern, he's very commandful. I don't know, he gives commands. I don't know. Yeah. No. Another subplot I want to point out is Hogsmeade. There's one part of the movie that I do understand. Again, you could have just switched that and put that somewhere else. Given what Harry is doing at the time, he could have been in his invisible cloak walking on the hallway and someone's talking about it. But the whole Hogsmeade thing, the reason why I don't like it is the whole thing with this is that in order to go there, you need to have a parent or guardian sign a permission slip. And given that these wizard people in charge of this school know about Harry's home life, I don't see why he needs to get a permission. They know that his guardians are not going to sign off on that shit. And it still confuses me to this day why they keep sending him back. Right? There's a thing in this, when I was younger, I was like, yes, do that. And then they don't. And then he keeps going back there. Even after what happens at the beginning of this, I guess memories were erased. I don't know if their memory was erased, but hers was. I don't know. I just find it stupid that he keeps being forced to go back to living like that. It's child abuse, and Hogwarts people are not much help with that. Also, I don't think they mentioned his birthday this time, which he'd be 13. But they're older than that. Puberty has hit them. I remember when I was younger. Let's see, these came out, what, 2000 and... What year did this come out? I don't know why I'm going over there. Hold on. As I'm still in my underwear. It's comfortable, damn it. 2004? Yeah, 2004. I was 17. I was 17. Yeah. So looking at let's see, she was born in 1990. 17-year-old, still legal. She'd have been 14, I think, if she was born in 1990. Yeah, she was 14. 14-year-old Emma Watson as a teenager with hormones. And seeing in the first movie, she was this little girl with poofy brown hair, and all of a sudden now in this one, it's like, look at this young, growing woman before me. What happened to Hermione? Like, I read the books. The books don't... Nah. Don't tell me how pretty she is. You know? Emma Watson's still pretty now. My crush is gone. I had a little crush. I had a teenage crush. That's gone now. It just sort of went away. I found Megan Fox, and then she was no longer. 2007 came along. I saw Megan Fox, and I was like, bye, Hermione. I'm just saying. And now I can't even stand Megan Fox. I had a thing for Katy Perry once upon a time ago. Even had a poster. Then my girlfriend, my ex, my son's mom came over and said, oh, I have that poster too. Took that down. Why would I keep a poster a girl has? I don't know. Anyway, enough of my young crushes. So, yes, this was my... I was already... It wasn't a sexual awakening, I don't think. But it was my awakening to, hello, Hermione. What happened? You know? That's 3 years apart, you know? Whatever. She was more closer to the age than the other two. She was born in 1990. Rupert Grint was 1989. And I think Radcliffe was 88. Or was it the other way around? I don't know. But, like, yeah. Anyway. So, what was I talking about? So, yeah. Their ages. They definitely hit puberty because there's 2 years between movies. So, it definitely was a change in puberty. That hit them hard. Poor Neville, though. Unless those were fake teeth. It looked like most of him, the puberty hit most of him except for his teeth were still, I don't know. But, yeah, they're also to the point where they don't give a shit anymore. They are not taking shit from anyone. What he does to Vernon's sister, what Hermione does to Malfoy, punching him in the face, you know, just, yeah. Wow. So, I like the fact that Hagrid gets to be a teacher. I don't like that it lasts about 5 minutes because Malfoy is a dumbass. He is. He literally is. Or he's too cocky for his own good. Because, like, they introduced the Hippogriff, Buckbeak, right? Hagrid shows them you have to be civil and nice and bow your head. Malfoy sees that Harry can do this and even fly around on him. Malfoy's like, I could do that. And immediately just sort of barges towards the animal without any courtesy or anything. Probably startling this animal to the point where now he gets scratched. He deserved this. I'm sorry, but Malfoy deserved this. He clearly wasn't paying attention or didn't care to listen to what to what Hagrid had to say about the situation, what you had to do. He just wanted to prove anything Harry could do, he could do, and he paid for it. He deserved this. Poor Buckbeak. Yeah. We also see that something's going on with Hermione. She's in a bunch of classes that she shouldn't be able to be in because some classes are at the same time, but she's able to be in those classes. You know? And Harry's not able to go to Hogsmeade because Vernon didn't sign the commission slip. And then McGonagall won't sign it either. And it's like, but again, they know what his home life is. They know Vernon won't sign the thing. Why don't just let him go? Although, later on in the movie, he uses the Marauders map and the Cloak of Invisibility to sneak over there. And they see him. They're just like, oh, it's Harry Potter. And they sort of duck into the bar, whatever it is. I don't know. There is a Quidditch game. The Dementors keep showing up and are going after Harry. And when you're watching this or reading this book, you don't know why, unless you've already watched them, why they keep going after Harry. They keep trying to make excuses like, oh, they just, I don't know. Because at one point, he's playing Quidditch, and he's going up to get it, and the Dementor just shows up and is like, there's no reason why I should be going after him, unless, and I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, well, obviously they're corrupt, right? They're actually evil or something, which would later prove to be true. But I'm going to go into that now. It just, the fact that they keep going after Harry kind of makes you think there's something else going on here. Because they're supposed to be looking for Sirius Black, yet they keep going after Harry. And one might think, well, it's the scar, right? It's the scar. It's connected to Voldemort. So they're sensing the evil in the scar. That would be a good point. If you didn't already know the rest of the books. The rest of the story. But yeah, Dementors look like Grim Reapers, basically. Professor Lupin is doing defense against the dark arts teacher because we gotta keep that gag running for no reason. Why they don't just make Snape defense against the dark art teacher? I'm not trying to question J.K. Rowling's writing, but I don't get the point of having a different defense against the dark art teacher each year. Sure, the first 3 years was fine. Even this one is fine. I meant fine, not fun. Fine. This one's even fine. But they keep doing it. They got a new one in the 4th book. A new one in the 5th book. And then they finally give it to Snape. But that's too little too late at that point. Because now we're going into the bigger story elements. And school is not going to matter as much. Which, regrettably, is one of my negatives with the later movies is, oh, they're at Hogwarts, but Hogwarts is just a setting now. Everything that goes on is really not important. That's later, but here very much is. So Harry wants to sneak to Hogsmeade. He's going to use the Cloak of Invisibility, but Fred and George stop him and say, that's not going to work. If they found him, because, you know, you walking in the snow, you can see footprints. So they give him the Marauders map, which allows him to sneak around and find a way to sneak into Hogsmeade, so he does. And this is when he overhears the conversation of what happened with Sirius Black. Supposedly, Sirius Black is responsible for the death of Harry's parents, Lily and James Potter. And the death, well, not personally responsible, but apparently he killed Peter Pettigrew and is responsible for handing them over to the Dark Lord, Voldemort. But that's what he overhears them saying. And I always forget this scene mentioning Pettigrew exists. My thought is that, because a lot of times I watch this on TV, I think they cut it from the TV version. Because every time I've watched this on TV, I'm always confused as to where he got the name Peter Pettigrew from. I guarantee you they cut it from the TV version. Or at least their airings from when I was a kid. Which mostly were on the Disney Channel, so they probably edited those to hell. But I don't know. This is also, I think, the first PG-13 one. There's this is when it gets to darker territory. So, yeah. So then Harry is studying the Marauders map at night, and Ron is having a dream about tap dancing spiders for no reason, but it was kind of funny. It made me laugh. Spiders, I want me to tap dance. I don't want to tap dance. Tell him, Ron. Okay. And he sees that Peter Pettigrew is in Hogwarts somewhere. I should also mention that Ron's rat Scabbers has also gone missing, and he thinks that Hermione's cat, who we've seen for the first time since the first movie, has eaten it. But, no. In this scene, where he's going down the hallway with the Lumos, and he's looking around, and you can see on the map, Peter Pettigrew is coming towards him, but you can't see where he is. But if you listen, you can hear the mouse footsteps. You can hear that. You just gotta really listen. Professor Snape catches up with him, and I should mention that when Professor Lupin is unable to make a class, for some reason they play it up to his ailment. They reveal him later in the movie, but like every class is in the middle of the day. How would that work? I get there's some days where the moon can be visible, but I don't know. It's just an excuse. And that very day, just so happens coincidentally, Snape is going to teach them about werewolves. I wonder why. Yes. So, but anyway, so while going through the most, he is caught by Snape, but Lupin shows up and says, I'll take him and I will take this parchment paper. It is meaningless parchment paper. Apparently it's charmed to where if anyone else tries to look at it, insults them. And he knows exactly what it is, and he's like, I was only out there because I saw a name that couldn't be there. Peter Pettigrew. That's impossible. I know it's impossible, but I saw the name. Like, it might be broken or something. Okay, so now we're getting some important parts. Somebody noticed after Malfoy got attacked by the hippogriff, he has like an injured arm in a sling. It switches from left to right. Like at one point, it's on this side because he hit someone with it. And then in the next scene, it's on this side. And I'm like, was there a mess up in the shooting days? Did they have to do reshoots and forgot which arm it was? It's weird. And it makes you think he's faking it, but we saw him get attacked, so it's not like he's completely faking it. Lucius Malfoy is only mentioned by name. We don't see him here. But they've sentenced Buckbeak to death. Which, come on. If I'm Dumbledore, like Hagrid's gonna tell Dumbledore, tell him what happened. Dumbledore's gonna go, that stupid Malfoy boy, he brought it on himself. Bits to them. Apparently, this is Lucius Malfoy's doing. He wants the thing taken care of, so yeah. So I'm gonna point this out, and it's not gonna make sense later. So at this point, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are visiting Hagrid, and he tells them what happened, and they're gonna come to do it. So he has them sneak out the back entrance, and they go up to the top of this hill, and they see Buckbeak getting executed, euthanized. You see the axe go down. They see it. They see it. You can try to explain it away with they're at a distance. Something's blocking it. They can't really tell. What they showed later doesn't make any sense to me. We'll get there. So they run off, and that's when a dog person, a dog that has been following Harry from the beginning of the movie shows up. Also during this, when they're in Hagrid's place, you see rocks getting thrown, and Hermione sees something that looks familiar, but she can't explain it through like the woods or whatever. That's important later. But the dog grabs a hold of Ron and brings him underneath the Whomping Willow. And it takes way too damn long for Ron and Hermione to get underneath the Whomping Willow. At one point, can't you just like Trivicus Totalis the Whomping Willow and go underneath? Could you charm it? There's way too much of them trying to get in there, and it's smashing at them and them riding on it. It's too much filler. Come on. Ugh. Now they get down there in a secret compartment, and that's when it's revealed that this dog was actually a dog man. And no, not dog man. It's Sirius Black, who says he's there to kill him. He's there to kill him. Then Harry goes off on him, but then Professor Lupin shows up and disarms Harry from his wand. And they talk, and it turns out, oh, he and Sirius are old friends, and he's pretty much responsible for helping him sneak around. And I'm gonna kill him. I want to kill him. I'm gonna do it. He goes, go ahead, kill him. And they think it's Harry, but they explain, no, it's not you. It's someone who until now I believe was dead, Peter Pettigrew. They explain it's been 12 years since what happened. They said, well, all I could find was his finger. And they say it's Scabbers that is Peter Pettigrew. Which, for the rest of this series, they call it Wormtail? Or something like that. Wormtongue? Wormtail? Wormtongue is the Lord of the Rings. Wormtail? I don't know why they changed his name after this, but they keep calling him Wormtail. I don't know. Peter Pettigrew is Scabbers, and Ron doesn't believe them, but then they use a magic charm to turn him human. And, yes, it's Timothy Spall. Squall? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yes. And, like, you were the one who delivered Lily and James Potter to Voldemort. Not us. You framed me. And now I'm here to kill you. Harry's like, no, you cannot kill him. But like before this, Snape shows up and is pointing at his wand at them. And, oh, I knew you'd help your friend get in here. I knew you were a werewolf. Blah, 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 blah. But I laugh at this because he's like, Expelliarmus, and he completely knocks out Snape to the point that I don't think we see him for the rest of the damn movie. We really don't. And, yeah. So, after this, they're going to, Harry says, no, we're going to take him to the Minister of Magic, to the Dementors, and they can deal with them. And we'll prove that Sirius Black is innocent. And I don't know why she wrote that he gets away and Sirius Black is not cleared. It should be cut and dried and deliver him to the Dementors. Sirius Black is cleared. But I have a feeling that she was planning something and couldn't have him delivered to the Dementors because of certain things we find out later in the other books and movies. So he had to get away, or she would have to reveal the twist earlier than expected. Although you could always say that he was able to, he snuck away on the way to Azkaban. He turned into the rat and snuck away. You could always do that. But anyway, yeah, he gets away, and for some reason, Professor Lupin turns into the werewolf because we need to have this scene in there where Sirius is trying to talk him down, but it doesn't work, and he tells them to run. It ends up with Sirius Black getting knocked unconscious down by the river bend, and a Dementor finding him, and some Patronus. Yes, I forgot to mention that. The Expectum Patronum, the Patronus charm, was taught to Harry by Lupin. Another Patronus happens, and Harry thinks it's his father. Somehow, because it's a deer, that's his father's Patronus. So he thinks it's his father. and it saves Sirius Black, but Sirius Black is taken prisoner in the tower, will be taken back to Azkaban. And even though Harry tries to plead that he's innocent, Dumbledore believes him, but they can't really do anything about it, I guess, because not like they have fucking magic. Invisible. Oh, he's not here. He must have left. I know there's way too many rules in this world with magic. They shouldn't have that many rules, but I know. I should also mention the Boggart scene, which doesn't really add anything. It just adds more comedy to it because Neville's afraid of Professor Snape, and so he uses the ridiculous charm to make him appear in his grandmother's clothes or something, whatever it is. Aunt or grandmother's clothes, whatever it is. Really, it leads to later, but he brings out a Boggart that resembles a Dementor, so that Harry can use the Patronus on it. But it wouldn't work that way, because it's not a real Dementor. It's a Boggart. So you'd have to use... He said that ridiculous is the spell to use on it. The only way you could get rid of it. But he uses the Patronus charm and it works. So me thinks he lied and that was a real Dementor. I don't know. But Ron is hurt and in the local medical facility. And so they're wondering what to do now. Sirius Black's going to also be, But the Dumbledore starts spieling on to Hermione about, maybe if there was only a way to, if you do it right, you could save more than one life this night. 3 turns should be enough, don't you think? And then he leaves. And Harry and Ron are so confused. But Hermione knows what it is. She takes this little trinket out, wraps it over her and Harry's head, and twists it 3 times and disappears. It's a time turner. She's been using that to time travel to all her classes and be there for every class. It's something that McGonagall gave her first term. So the first year, she was using that for the last 2 years, or is it first term of this year? I don't know. But they know she has this. And let her enroll in all those classes and cheat to do this, I guess. That's what I'm gathering. But yeah, so now we are seeing from this Ron and Hermione's perspective the events that we've seen already. We see Malfoy get punched in the face by Hermione. We see Hippogriff tied up and the Ministry, them leaving out the back and the Ministry. Okay. This is where I have an issue. Harry and Hermione free the Hippogriff. Buckbeak. Free Buckbeak. And immediately after they free him, and they take him into the woods, they use dead raccoons or whatever it is, dead possums, whatever. And they go into the woods. But then Hagrid, Fudge, and the Executioner and Dumbledore come out. And clearly Dumbledore is in on this because he's pointing at something this way while they are leading Buckbeak away, so he knows something's going on. But they're like, oh, he's gone. Where did he go? I don't know where he went. He left. Search the grounds. Search the sky if you want. I would rather have a spot of tea or maybe a nice big glass of brandy. Like, Dumbledore doesn't care. He knows. He knows. He's the headmaster. He knows. So, and I'm sitting here and I'm going, wait, that doesn't make any sense because they watched the execution, right? And then you see the executioner slice a pumpkin or whatever it is, and I went, no, that doesn't explain it. Because in the other version that they saw where Buckbeak supposedly died, they were all standing there when he did it. They didn't leave. They were watching. They would have seen them complaining about the fact that Buckbeak was gone. It makes no sense. This is the explanation. Oh, he just chopped the pumpkin, and that's what they thought because they were far away. No, bullshit. I'm not taking that as an excuse. No, sorry, because I'm watching the first time like, oh, the time travel thing, and it's implied this is already happening. So I'm like, but wait, they watch the execution, and it's not just the pumpkin they would have known. And again, it's not presented as Buckbeak is gone when they come out the first time. Whatever. So then they didn't have to kind of be Lion King 1.5 here. While the rest of the events of the previous events of the movie are happening. Excuse me. And eventually, it comes to where Sirius Black is being attacked by the Mentor, and Harry is sure his dad's going to step in, but then realizes, oh no, it was me, and uses the Patronus to save him, and it was him. It was him. So then they fly Buckbeak up to save Sirius Black, and Sirius Black once said, I am your godfather, and you can stay with me if you want. But now he's like, no, I'm still found guilty, so you can't stay with me. Why bring it up the first time? Why give us hope we can get away from those terrible people? I don't know. And then, so Sirius flies off on the Buckbeak, and they run back to the local medical facility to see Ron, and they run to Dumbledore, and he's like, we did it. Did what? And walks away. Interestingly, he doesn't say anything about the fact that they were just in there and now they're outside again. They run in just as the other versions of them disappear, and Ron is very confused, and they're like, can't be two places at once, can we run? And, yeah. So, Lupin is leaving his position as Defense Against the Dark Art teacher because he's a werewolf, so it's, he can't do it anymore because they keep this running joke going. So he's leaving. He gives the Marauders mech back to Harry, says goodbye, and basically the movie ends there, I think. Not really a big wrap up this time. I'm getting on the train and leaving. Honestly, it was already getting kind of overdone. But, yeah. That's it. It's still really good. I'm going to give it a very high. Pretty good. Close to the moon, but not quite. The time travel snafu nixed this for me. I was enjoying it, and then I started thinking about the time travel stuff, and I'm just like, no, it makes no sense. Time travel's all wibbly wobbly already, but clearly they're standing there watching the execution. It's not a pumpkin. They don't see them freaking out about the hippogriff being gone. No. Clearly, the first time around, Buckbeak was murdered. Executed. But the hints of the time travel of the other two kind of go against that too, because they're still throwing rocks. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But other than that, pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban? So much like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.